Coming for my execution.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Let's say hello to everyone by a show of hands in your divisions. If we can start in Vista. Good morning, Vista. Good morning.
Full house.
LA is here. You can't see them, but here's LA. And we have if you have a new person in your division, please have them stand up and say hello. In LA, we have a new person. We have Jennifer, who's our new marketing coordinator. And then we also have Nam. Nam is here. He's our new merchandiser in LA. And I'm sorry. Brenda. And we have Brenda, who's also in our credit department in LA. I think I touched everyone for LA.
You have to stand.
Welcome. And good morning, Fresno. Where's Fresno?
Stand up. What's your name?
How you doing? I'm new. I'm the warehouse manager. My name is Mike Reynolds here in Fresno.
Welcome.
Started April 6th. Thank you.
Welcome. Good morning, Sacramento.
Good morning. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Amy. I'm new, started on April 6th also for merchandising.
Welcome. Good morning, Portland.
Good morning.
Where's Portland?
Good morning. Look at all that green they have. Good morning. Good morning, Reno.
We have two new folks in Reno.
They stand.
I'm Sandy. I'm Gina, merchandising. I started in March.
Great.
Welcome.
Jennifer, merchandising.
Good morning, Las Vegas.
Good morning. Emily Hall, client coordinator, started April 15th.
Good morning, Salt Lake. And good morning, Houston.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Eric Carter. Just started last Tuesday as a CRM. Just glad to be here with you guys.
Is that Jimmy in Houston?
Yes. Hi, Vince.
And good morning, North Carolina, or afternoon, North Carolina, your time.
Hello.
Hey there.
So we're going to start off. Thank you for the questions that everyone sent in. And the first one comes from Las Vegas. And the question is, a focus in the field today is showing how our company is different. And was this something that Ernest has always done?
Well, we were typically a very small company, and we were just trying to make a living selling a few items. So I think we started realizing that if you were going to really succeed in this business, you had to be just a little bit different. And I think we started years ago trying to get a better sales program. Kenny would know a little bit about this. But this impetus towards becoming a company that was a leader, and I believe we are, in our industry, something that Tim and I started, maybe 10 years ago, and we kept pushing it. And every year it's gotten better because we've gotten the people who help us to do it. And it's really been exciting because I think you can see what's really made it become so more important is the method of communication we have today. look at the way we're discussing things with each other. You know, it's terrific because we are now able to see you, you can see us. We can, with all of the means of communication we have, we're trying to be right ahead of everybody. And I think we're doing a pretty good job. I think our people are just doing an outstanding job.
The next question is from Las Vegas. And so the question is, you and your brother started the company with very little. And what pieces of advice would you give to our rookie CRMs to build their businesses?
Well, my classic is work, work, and work. And there's something even more, though. There's another triple that I use, too. It's called think, think, and think. You can work all you want, but if you don't think about what you're doing, it isn't worth the damn. So I really expect that it's not that simple. You have to think of what you're doing and be willing to put the effort and time into accomplishing it. Think it out in first, and then you'll be surprised. You can go after the goals. Now, you're not going to achieve everything you try to make, and you can't be disappointed because you're going to be disappointed every day. But you will find that if you're out there over and over and over, work, work, and work, and thinking why you're doing this and what you're doing, you've got to be successful. Does that help?
Absolutely.
I wish I'd done that.
Thinking is underrated sometimes. So here's the popular question that keeps coming up. And the big question that everyone from all the divisions keep asking is, what was Tim like growing up?
Oh, he was terrific, seriously, but he was a very quiet, and he was a thinker. He really was a thinker. He always was quiet and worked very hard at everything he did.
He worked so hard. We've got a
Yeah,
great...
you got a story. Tell him the story about
So
that.
I recently learned something, and you can speak to it, but I learned that Tim was the first employee to ever get laid off from Ernest. And so the story goes that Tim started working for the company in high school, and he would come in from 8 to 3 and work in the manufacturing part of it, and then from 3 to 5 he'd work in the warehouse sweeping, and that was his job during high school. And times got tight, and yourself and Ernie made the decision to lay Tim off so that someone else in the company could stay. And so Tim was the first person in the company to ever get laid off.
And Tim well understood it because we had outside employees who needed work. And what are you going to do? You just got to make it realize that they needed it more than Tim did. Not that we were doing so great, but it just was. But it's funny, now he's still got the record of being the first guy to
So now we all know. How did your experience in the war inspire you to succeed when you came home?
I don't know whether just a multiplicity of things. You got to realize that I'm a product, really, of the Depression. My mother was alone during the war, and 2 boys out in service, and my father died when I was 5.5, and things were very tough. And I think that the war, on top of everything, just was a very tough. You don't want to think about it. A lot of things happened there. You go through combat, it's an awful strain. And
So more the upbringing versus the war.
it was, I just felt that I didn't want to live that way when I got out. I wanted to do something that I could have a better standard of living and stuff that we had had all this time. So I wanted to do something for my mother and my brother, who was just terrific. He was such a leader for me. He was the absolute greatest person that I've really had on this planet. And so I just felt I had to be successful if at all possible. I think that's...
And we just discussed one of your first lessons in business on, on your paper route.
Well, I had a paper route in Salt Lake City, when I was 12. And in those days, when you had a paper route, you bought the papers and you were liable for them.
You owned them.
And you owned them, and you'd take subscriptions, and you'd have, if somebody got credit, and then you'd take them. So I think I was 12 years old. I'd worked for my brother before I was 12. You had to be 12 to have your own paper route. So now I had my new paper out, and I'd been there about 4 or 5 months. I had all of these little places, that I tried to sell, and for weekly subscriptions. And it was really funny because, boy, I'm in business. See, I was really in business because if you buy too many papers, they're yours. And so it was a deal, but that taught me one thing. But in addition to that, I had this nice guy. He's terrific. He's always a nice customer and one time I come up to collect, he owed me, I think, 50 cents or something, or maybe $1 for the week. So he says, listen, give me another $1. Next week when you come around, I will give you the $2 and take care of everything. So I gave him the extra money. The next week he moved out. So I learned about credit. You ladies, I just want to tell you, when you're 12 years old, you get a little bitter.
You needed Jen to run this credit
Jen,
for you.
You understand why I love you.
I feel you.
So that's the story there. But it's crazy. You have a life that's full of. What I was telling him, the wonderful thing is I had an assistant because in Salt Lake City there was the Telegram and the Tribune. It was 2 papers. The Telegram was the afternoon paper, and the Tribune was the morning paper. And Sunday mornings, if you had extra, you could get the Tribune Sunday morning paper if you had the Telegraph. So I had to deliver papers Sunday morning, see. So by this time, those are heavier, So I'd either have a wagon, and I had an assistant by this time, to help me. And the big deal was if we were really good and really making it, we could get a 5-cent hamburger. But if we really did it, I bought the big one, the 10-cent one for he and myself. And that was our big deal at 6 in the morning. So you see, that was a dime hamburger.
That's wonderful. So with all of your experience, a question is, what advice do you have to be successful in life?
Oh, come on.
Let's get serious now.
Well, I gave you the advice. It's work, and think, and think. But, you have to be successful first and foremost. You've got to try to understand what you personally want to do. Life is complex, and if you could be doing something really well and hate doing it, that's not the answer. You've got to find what you really like to do and what you want to do. And if that's what you can do, that's the best. You got to try to be in a place where when you're working, you enjoy it. And you also want to figure, this is my career. This is what I really want to do. It isn't what my mother wants me to do, or my father wants me to do, or my wife wants me to do, or my husband wants me to do. It's what do I really want to do that I really like to do? And you want to do it and you like to do it. That's very important to find out. Because a lot of times you get stuck in a job that, that you could spend a lifetime just doing something you're not happy with. But you'll find that if you really concentrate on doing what you want to do, and if you concentrate in such a manner, you'll find that you will be successful and your life will be a lot better for you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So North Carolina is asking if you can show us how to do a correct push-up. And we'll tell them to go to the Insider.
Yeah, go to the Insider, because there's a bunch of paramedics coming by. I think I did a good job then, didn't I? I didn't even know they were here.
I think the LA guys still owe you some push-ups.
That's right. That was a correct push-up, wasn't it?
It was a great push-up.
Good. Yeah, so that's it. Okay.
So our last question is, what makes you still come to work every day?
Well, besides being kicked out of the house in the morning, you don't think my wife wants me to hang around the place, do you? I really enjoy it. I just feel that a young guy like myself, it's something to do, because I love to be with people that I like. And when I want to hang around and see, I don't know. And I'm not a bridge player particularly. I used to play bridge, but it's, and I think I still have something to contribute. And it's very important. I know that it's just fun. It's fun. And as long as I'm well enough to do those things and I'm having fun, that's what life's all about. Every day's a gift. And you better accept your gifts. And as long as I've got those gifts every day, this is what I want to do, I'm going to do it. So sorry, people.
We get more out of it, don't be sorry. So a lot of us know from our talks that you've sat on many boards, and I know from our conversations that you've mentored many people throughout your career. And what was your experience like doing so, mentoring all these different people and sitting on these different boards and those type of experiences?
Well, every group of people are a little different, and most of the boards I sat on were problem situations. That's why I was brought in, because I was busy with Ernest and my law practice and everything. So, and but aside from the fact that I was on it for the money, you understand that, don't you? But I think you learn a lot because everybody's different and everybody's the same. They're all trying to succeed. A lot of the companies that I was involved with were in problems of their own making, and there was a similarity there oftentimes. So I don't know what to tell you because everything's different. It's just, but I learned an awful lot. I think what I learned is how little I knew. The more you get and how bright so many people are. There's so many bright people in this world, it's amazing. And the one thing is you learn that there's so much that you never knew.
Did a lot of that experience carry you through your career, especially here at Ernest, and things that you learned, maybe what not to do from seeing other companies struggle, best practices and things to avoid?
Well, I think we're all learning together. I think every day we all learn together, don't we? So it's the one thing is you got to know is you haven't learned anything. You're just the beginning. Every day is a new beginning, and all that background helps you. But you've got to keep your mind open that this new day may have new challenges. And those new challenges can't necessarily be met by the same thing you did yesterday. And that's the one thing you have to really think about. We're a very exciting company because we have so many different products, so many different things to do. And it's really wonderful because we've got a lot of excitement. But remember, you can't solve them just the way you did like when I was starting selling pin tickets for garments. You can't solve your problem selling pin tickets to somebody who doesn't use them.
So you wanted me to share a story.
Okay.
We have in LA, she's not here, Diane, one of our receptionists, today's her birthday and she turned 60 today. And the really neat story about that is when I wished her happy birthday this morning, she said that there's 4 or 5 people in LA that are turning 60 this year, and that they all turned 50 10 years ago within the same year. And so when they all turned 50, they went out, they celebrated their birthdays. I think Pat is a part of that group, Pat Bocanegra, so who's here. So when they all turned 50, they all went out and celebrated their birthdays. And on that day when they celebrated, they said, okay, now when we all turn 60, wherever we are in life, we'll come together and we'll celebrate 60. And the great thing is they're all still here at Ernest, and they'll all turn 60 this year and be able to go celebrate their 60th birthday.
But they all deny it.
So I love that story that they could be here to celebrate their 60th, and it just goes to being part of this great family that we call Ernest Packaging.
Yeah, well, I felt everybody should know that story. I'm so delighted because, you know, when you figure we got people that really like each other, and that's what we want in this company.
Absolutely. So keep sending in your questions. We'll answer them as they come in, and we'll see you next month on the last Tuesday of the month.
Do I have to?
You do.
Well, thank you one and all.